Hi everyone, I'm Rochelle, and I have two little girls, Anna, who just turned 3, and Chaylee, who is 18 months. And in today's video, I'm excited to share with you our Catholic Montessori Playroom. Now, before we jump into the video, I just wanted to add that we did not acquire all of these things at once. This is years in the making. Some of this stuff was just slowly accumulated or gifted to us, and it just didn't happen overnight. I try hard to remember that Montessori is not about the stuff. It's about the approach itself. It's about how you're interacting with your child, how you're following their interests, how you're setting up an environment to help build their autonomy. It's so much more than the things that you have. So I try really hard to remind myself of that when I feel inundated by all the Instagram posts and things that people post that make it seem like you have to have these things to do it well. You don't. So hopefully today in my tour, I can give you a very realistic version of what it could be in your home, what you could have to help your children to thrive in a Montessori home environment. And also another thing I wanted to add is that every space is going to look totally different depending on the interests of your child, the ages of your children, the kind of space constraints or budget constraints that you might have. So what I'm going to show you today is just what works for our family, and I just hope that it gives you some inspiration and some ideas of what you could realistically find in a Montessori home that's not just picture perfect in every way. So right now, I've got two little girls, like I said, a 3-year-old and 18-month-old. So I've got one young preschooler and one young toddler. So our room is set up for their ages. And pretty soon we'll have our next little one coming. I am currently 20 weeks pregnant. And so I'll have to provide an updated room tour with what the Montessori Playroom will look like when we've got a preschooler, a toddler, and a baby in the mix. So keep an eye out for that when the baby's born and I can get around to it. And with that, I think it's time to jump into the room tour. All right, you guys, so this is our playroom. And I'm just gonna start by giving you an overview of what the playroom itself looks like. So I'll just go ahead and start with the shelves. So we have 2 shelves for the girls right now. They're right next to each other. We've got Anna's shelf, it's a little bit bigger, and Chaylee's shelf. So both of them are from Sprout Kids, which is a great company that's USA based, and they make Montessori furniture. It's pretty affordable and pretty easy to assemble. It can be a little bit pricey. Both of these were gifted to us, but if you are looking for some traditional style Montessori furniture, it is a great company that I would recommend. But again, you can certainly use whatever furniture you have. And before we had this, that's exactly what we did. So starting with Anna's shelf, we have artwork above. So this is just a backyard birds of Idaho picture that I found from Etsy. You know, she does make them for every single state. So if you're interested, I would say it's a great purchase if your child is interested in birds. Both of my girls love birds, and last year we had so much fun pointing out the different birds that you see here outside where we live. It was really, really fun and a great way to kind of reference which birds we're seeing here. So highly recommend. And then for Anna's shelf, we keep anywhere between, I would say, like 8 to 10 different toys or activities on her shelf at any given time. Again, she is 3, she just turned 3, and that seems to be a good number for her to manage. And on the top shelf, I do try to just keep things that I don't necessarily want Chaylee to get into. So that's a great way to kind of keep your younger toddlers out of things, just to kind of keep those things on the top shelf. So starting with our colored beads material, this is a fun material that we're using for learning counting. So it just goes up to 10 here. This is the 10th one. And right now we're just using them to kind of match up the bead to the correct number. And then here we have our tool set. And I would say both girls are actually interested in this one right now, which, I just kind of have to supervise Chaylee with it, but it's super fun. So it just comes with a screwdriver, and then I put a second Allen wrench in here so that both girls could play with it, and just different types of screws. And yeah, it's a really fun material and an engaging one to really work on that pincer grip for sure. And then over here, this is just kind of a creative material because I call it the car wash station. So you can see I have these little cars, a hand towel, a cup for pouring water on, and actually this is soap. Obviously we are not bathing the cars in this basket. What I have my daughter do is just bring this over to the kitchen sink, and I just kind of fill up the kitchen sink with water and let her wash the cars that way. She's very interested in washing. She wants to wash dishes all of the time, which is great. And I do often let her do that. But on occasion when, maybe the dishes are already washed or whatever, and she wants to do some water play, this is a great opportunity, and it's a super fun one. Down below, I've got the Melissa and Doug 12-piece puzzles. This one is like the vehicle one, so it comes with like, I don't know, like for example, like a train, and I know another one's a fire truck, and I love how they're actually marked, as you can see on the back, by the shape, so you can actually organize them that way in each tier. So we really enjoy this. She's very interested in jigsaw puzzles right now, and this is a great challenge for her. I do have to help her with it still, but we are really working on this one. These are my DIY version of Sandpaper Numbers. I can just go ahead and show you a few of them here. So there are many different ways that you can make Sandpaper Numbers. So you do not have to purchase your set of Sandpaper Numbers if you're trying to save money in that way. So I just went ahead and took index cards that I had at home, Sharpie, glitter glue, and then you can kind of feel it as you trace them, and they work great. I'm gonna probably update this. We practice these often, but she hasn't quite mastered these numbers, and when she does though, I'll probably update it to cards and counters pretty soon. Moving on, we've got these are my listening jars, also DIY. So they used to be smelling jars. You can do smelling or listening jars. And then once she mastered that, I went ahead and did the listening jars. So the way I did it was I put stickers on the bottom so she can self-correct herself. So you can see that I have, the 3 different colors here. I just picked colors that she loves. And then she's supposed to, listen to them, and then she can always self-correct herself and find the matching one. So that's that material. I only have 6 of them. I feel like that's plenty. I've seen a set with more like 8, but that works for us. These are just old spice jars. This was a DIY material I did. If you're interested, I certainly can share with you guys how I did it, but literally it's just spice jars that I had, cleaned them out, put black paper inside, and then put stickers on the bottom to self-correct. So then moving on the bottom shelf, we have the Melissa and Doug, again, number puzzles that I think goes up, I can't quite remember, I'm sorry, I can't quite remember the number it goes up to, maybe 20 or 25, but I only take out the ones that we're working on. So right now we're working on numbers 1 through 10, and the way it works is it's a self-correcting puzzle again, so definitely Montessori friendly, and you try to find the correct picture that matches with the number. So I don't worry too much about separating the two. You'll see often in Montessori trays that would actually have like a divider in between, so you would keep them separate. And there's something to that. I'm just using what I have though. Like I don't have a bunch of trays. I try to use, all of these trays, this tray is free from a Melissa and Doug product, so I don't worry about it too much. What I do is I've just trained Anna to like first separate the numbers from the pictures. and then you can go ahead and match them up as you see fit. Moving on to our next materials, we have our music basket, which we love. Both girls are very interested in music. We love starting off our mornings just like singing and dancing and just having the best time with these instruments. So we, you know, right now, I switch out these instruments, you know, just so that they have some different instruments to learn from and use. But right now I've got some maracas, I've got triangle, you know, bell shaker, and you know, as you can see, I have these little cards here. It's going to be Valentine's Day in a few days. By the time this video comes out, it'll be past Valentine's Day, but for now, we are singing Valentine's Day songs. I did not make this material. I got this from Our Montessori Journey from Instagram. So I will go ahead and link where I got this from. I think I got it last year. So, but it's been great. So I switch out song cards and then we sing different songs. We don't always have to sing these songs, obviously, but for now, preparing for Valentine's Day, the girls love it. And then our next material is this doctor kit, which Anna just loves playing doctor right now. So I went ahead and got her a doctor kit and she loves it. So inside I can just show you, there's the stethoscope, the thermometer. Yeah, so I think we're missing our blood pressure cuff right now, but that's, those are at least some of the materials inside. So she loves taking it out, playing doctor with her sister or her stuffed animals. And yeah, I like providing a material that is more open-ended on her shelf, but I will say that most open-ended materials for us is actually upstairs in their bedrooms. And then the more kind of purposeful Montessori activities are the ones that are typically on her shelf. But the girls love this, and it's a really, really fun way to just kind of add some pretend. Since having a preschooler, that's typically what Anna wants to do all day, is do pretend things. So we love this little kit. So here's Chaylee's shelf. So above on her shelf, I've just got like 3 different images here of things that they've been interested in the past. So bees, insects, and then phases of the moon. I'm surprised, like I didn't know how much that they would really influence the girls, but the other day, Anna was telling me, you know, she was asking me about the moon, and she's like, I think that's a first quarter moon, Mama. And I'm like, you're right. Where'd you learn that from? So, you know, these things really definitely do help. I would recommend putting art in your home if you haven't. I do want to change these out to be saint pictures pretty soon. I'm eyeing some right now that I want to change them out to. I just haven't gotten to it. And then above we've got a crucifix so that the girls can pray, be with Jesus if they want to, and they just love looking at it. I don't know, it's so beautiful to see. So we definitely have to have a crucifix in our playroom. So that's where we hang ours, kind of at a lower level where they can see it. Starting from left to right, we have a tray with magnets and a little whiteboard to put the magnets on. Chaylee right now is like super into magnets. And you don't have, you do not have to have a whiteboard tray. This was given to us for free from a friend, and on the back it's actually a chalkboard. So I'm using the materials that we have. I used to keep these on our refrigerator, and that worked great for a while. I just find that having it on the shelf makes it more like focused work, if that makes sense, and she can take it off and on as often as she wants to, which sometimes in the kitchen it just gets everywhere, all the magnets. So sometimes it's just better to have it in the work area. And then next to that, we have this wooden car ramp, which both of my girls have really loved. I think the repetition of this one is really fun for them, and you definitely, it's a tough one because you really have to focus on using that pincer grip, putting the card down in the right direction, which for both of my girls was tricky to learn, and then letting the car go. So I think that repetitive work is really great for Chaylee right now. And then we've got our matching farm animals with the cards, which I made these myself. So this is another DIY. All I did was find so these are the Schleich animals, farm animals. Most of our animals are not Schleich. Most of them are you know, the less expensive ones, the Safari limited ones, but when I first started getting animals, I wanted to get the Schleich ones, which I do love. These are our favorite. So again, so showing you the cards here that I went ahead and just made, all I did was find the Schleich image of each farm animal. We do have more farm animals than this. I just kept, you know, right now we have 5, but I just kept a few of them in the basket for her to match, so it wasn't overwhelming. This is proving to be a little difficult for her, so it's a great challenge. She can get a few of them correct, and she's still working on some of the others. So this is a great one to have on the shelf for her right now. Going to the bottom, we have this palette of pegs from Haba, and it comes with these rings as well. So at first, you know, you'll just see I just started with the actual pegs, and then I added the rings. And, you know, ideally you would want them to like match the color, but right now she's literally just practicing putting on the pegs and the rings. And then my daughter Anna, sometimes she comes to play with this actually, she'll actually match the colors. So that's where they'll get to. But yeah, Chaylee loves this material. I think she plays with this every day. Next to that, we've got our twist and turn blocks. So these are great right now for Chaylee. Chaylee is really interested in twisting. So this material comes with 4 of them. I just put 2 out. It seems to be a good start for her. And I leave them kind of half on purpose. So you can actually twist them all the way off. I leave them half on for her to just practice that twisting motion. Next to that, I've got a puzzle that is also a really good challenge for her right now. I've seen kind of in different circles with Montessori how some people like to leave the puzzles in, some people like to take the actual puzzle pieces out. I just leave them in, and I feel like it shows the child how to actually complete the puzzle. And I find that my child still comes to this material without it being, with these being in a basket. So you can do it either way. And I think this way, you know, works just fine for us. So yeah, so those are our shelves. Moving on, next to Chaylee's shelf, we've got our kitchen, and I'm just gonna start with our cleaning supplies since they're in this, they're like hiding in this corner here. So I have this little cleaning caddy that the girls can take with them to clean the windows or the sliding glass door, for example. Also to clean up after snack. So this sometimes has vinegar in it, like a little bit of vinegar, just to make it really like a cleaning solution, but it's often just water. It's just easy. And then I have one little, you know, rag and a squeegee for them. And then I have a little Swiffer, which, you know, I just took the top portion off of it to make it more, you know, their size. And then I have like a reusable cloth down here for them to mop if they would like to. And then I have this little hand broom, which works great for cleaning up after snack as well. That's usually when we practice using that. So cleaning up after little messes or like Play-Doh bits and pieces, that's what we use that for. So we used to have this as a functional kitchen, and it worked really great for that. When Anna was young, I didn't even have this top portion on. By the way, this is the Ikea Kitchen. I'm sure most of you know that. But I didn't have that top portion on. I just had this. This used to be a cutting board. I only had dishes and actual kitchen utensils in it for cooking and preparing food. And it worked great. And it was a good step into Montessori. However, now that I have a preschooler, my daughter wants to do pretend play all the time. So I'm following her lead, and I've just decided to kind of go with that. So with that being said, I've converted this back to a play kitchen. I have Melissa and Doug wooden, you know, food, and then that I just keep in a basket there. And then I've got the same Melissa and Doug. Again, we have a lot of Melissa and Doug stuff now that I'm thinking about it. Pots and pans. And that's just left up there. It's pretty simple right now. My hope is to add more to it, but right now this works great for my girls. So these are the Ikea shelves that we're using for our books because I love the idea of having them forward facing. So our top shelf is way too high for our toddler, but Anna, it works really well because on the top shelf I can keep books that, you know, maybe are like picture books that maybe when, you know, Chaylee might rip or just not take care of in the same way. So that's nice to have that top shelf. And then the books themselves, I try to only keep like 4 or 5 on each shelf itself. And I switch these out periodically just as I see, just based on interest. So, you know, you can see some of the books that we have currently on the shelf. It is a mix, like, you know, we've got a few from the library, and, you know, and then some of these were just gifted to us and some of them I purchased. Oh, and one note I wanted to make about the books. You'll notice that not all of these books are what you would say, you know, are Montessori friendly. Some of them are, you know, are fiction based, and I'm okay with that. At first, you know, when I was doing Montessori, I kept getting like all of these books, right, as gifts from people. And a lot of them are just fiction based because that's what a lot of child books are, right? And I really struggled with that because I'm like, well, I don't want to give this book away per se. Like, it's a fun classic book or it's a fun read and, you know, my kid would really like it. And yet I also wanted to follow the Montessori approach of not introducing fiction too early. So what I've done is I've just let go of that. I do try to get more reality-based books. Like I really do. And you can see some of them on the shelf, right? If my kid wants to read a certain book, or they're really interested in Curious George right now, I don't stress about it. I just go with it. And then I just say, like, can hens really cook? And, you know, can giraffes really dance? So I just don't stress. So let me know in the comments below if you've kind of come to that conclusion, or maybe if you feel like for your child, like it's been best to just keep to the reality-based books, and how you've actually managed to do that too would be interesting to know. And next we have this Sprout table. Again, it's from the company, the Sprout Kids. And this was also gifted to us from my parents, and we love it. It is so perfect. You can move up the table, move down the table, the chairs, you can move up and down so that each kid, you know, can have the chair that actually is best for them, height-wise. And then I went ahead and actually just added this yoga bolster seat. When we first started using the table, we got this for free, and I couldn't really find a use for it personally, and so I thought it was a great cushion. So I use this to sit next to the girls, and it works perfectly for that. So if you're trying to find a solution for that, I would recommend finding some kind of bolster seat like this one that, you know, works really, really well for that. And it's washable too, like the cover. So I do wash it from time to time. And then over here, we've got our art cart. And, you know, I've seen it many ways where some people like to leave a lot of different art materials on their art cart. And I just find that it's just best for my daughters to only leave a few materials out at a time. So up top, we've got our watercolors, and both of the girls love that. We've got our art smocks here, 2 cups with some different paintbrushes, and they know to take their cup, we fill it with a little bit of water, bring it to the table, and then I've got watercolor paper that's hiding back here that just doesn't fit. Down below here, where both my girls can reach pretty easily, I've got some different, you know, construction paper and a coloring book. Now, coloring book is not Montessori, but this was gifted to us, and right now we're just using it up. So we have one of them with the kind of like chunky crayons, which work really great. The kids have to press down really, really hard to use these, and that's a good thing. That's what you want. So if you're looking for a good crayon for your child, this is a great one. I can link this one below. And then we've got these Stabilo colored pencils, which are awesome. We love these for many different reasons. I have many of them, so we really like those. And then down below, we have Play-Doh. So this is our Play-Doh bin, and Anna can open this little Tupperware here, and then it just keeps everything inside, the Play-Doh and all of our Play-Doh tools. Okay, so then coming to the opposite side of the room where kind of like we first started, we have kind of our gross motor area and some practical life that I'm gonna get into. For gross motor, right now I just have 2 push and pull toys, 2 strollers, 1 for each of the girls. This is the Love Every one. This one I just found on Amazon years ago. They like to push their baby dolls, stuffed animals. It's super fun. They love them. They use them, you know, every day. And then I'll just jump over to the rest of the gross motor over here, and then I'll come back to the practical life. So this is our other gross motor area. This is our Pickler Triangle, which I stand up like this. It's pretty sturdy, so I don't stress about it. And then I've got 2 of these reversible slides. So this one is a ladder and a slide in the back, and that one is a rock wall, which I can kind of show you here. Both of these were made by my dad. He's really, really good at wood and has made us many, many things. This is one of them, and they attach perfectly to the pickler. It looks like it comes with it. This is the Lily and River Pickler Triangle, which we love, and we use this every single day for gross motor. And then here is the Love Every Tunnel, which we love. We also open this up and use quite a bit and make like obstacle courses out of and stuff like that. So that's our gross motor area. I just kind of stack them in the corner. And then next to it is just, you know, Stuffies. We love stuffed animals, and I'm not afraid to admit that with the girls. So I know you don't often see these in Montessori homes, but again, this isn't a classroom, this is a home, so things are different when you're at home. We have Stuffies upstairs as well, and the girls use them for pretend play a lot. So we've even got our little dino here, which they're really into. Okay, so moving on. I had this kind of gray sideboard, I don't know, table for a while, and I wasn't sure what to do with it when we moved into this house. So I decided I would use it for a variety of things. Right now is serving as kind of our practical life area slash activities where I don't want Chaylee to get into. So starting on the top here, we've got 2 activities for Anna, and then by the way, I've got 2 activities for Chaylee. That's how I'm doing it. So here I've got cutting practice with scissors for Anna is really into practicing cutting right now. And then here I've got a tray for Valentine's Day. It's just Valentine's stickers I got at Target. She's really into tape, and right now she's making little Valentines with her new double-edged like markers, which she's really into right now because it's her first time using markers. So she's into making Valentines on this tray. She does it all the time. And then on the bottom here is for Chaylee. So Chaylee is very much into practicing her pouring. So she knows that she can bring this to her activity table. She takes out the green towel for spills, and then she asks for water, and I can help her get the water in the pitcher, and we practice the pouring. And then here's a little Valentine's Day activity for Chaylee. Chaylee is very interested in stickers. So I just put out a few pieces of paper. I put the stickers here on the edges so she can grab them, and she will sit here and just happily work on this for a long time. Down below, I've got 2 baskets. And this is where I keep some of my open-ended, but again, most of our open-ended toys are upstairs. In this basket, we have a ton of balls, just different balls that we've accumulated from being, you know, babies to now. And some of them are from Love Every, which we got the kit for the first year for my daughter Anna. So we have a lot of Love Every things, but yeah, a lot of them we've just accumulated, and they're just different textures and, you know, colors, and yeah, so that's really fun. They love rolling these down the pickler right now is what they're mainly into, and then just practicing throwing them. And then here in this basket, we have Magnet Tiles, which is an awesome material if you've got a 2-year-old. I do have quite a bit of them, and they like to make, right now they're making houses with ours. You can see I have a bunch of saint dolls in here. So we have a bunch of saint dolls, and that, yes, they were all made by ladies at our church community. This is Maximilian Colby, St. Nicholas. Let's see, this is, I think, Maria Goretti. So, you know, we have a bunch of them, and they like making houses, or Anna specifically really likes making houses for the Saint dolls. So that's where I just keep them all together, and she really enjoys doing that. That is our playroom. Now, one thing I have not added, which I'm going to add, is this used to be our prayer table. And I just found that we were doing most of our prayer as a family in the living room. So our living room is just right here, and I'm just gonna go ahead and walk you over to our prayer area. So this used to be on that gray table, and then now I've put it in our family room. So we do family prayer every single evening after dinner. And right now it's a very simple setup. We have, you know, we do have our crucifix. We have Mama Mary up above. You know, we've got various images here of Jesus and Mary, Our Lady of Guadalupe. And we just find that this area just kind of calms them down, as opposed to being in the playroom where all of their toys are at. So this is working really, really well. So if you don't have a prayer table yet, I would recommend starting one. I bought these from, I think her name is Jo Sews. I like to do a little sewing myself, but it was just way easier to buy them at the time. And she has like different color liturgical cloths. So I switch it out depending on the liturgical season. And then I just have this little bell that starts our prayer time, 2 real candles. And we keep a lighter in one of our drawers here. And the girls can blow out the candles at the end, which they love. And we've got our basket of rosaries. Right now, our prayer routine is after dinner, and we say just a pendant and the first decade. Sometimes we're able to say more, but typically that's a good amount of time for our girls. And there you have it. That's our room tour. So hopefully that gave you some inspiration about how you can set up your Catholic Montessori playroom. We are not yet homeschooling, so when we do, I'm sure things will look different. And when the baby comes, it's going to be different then too. But for now, this is our playroom, and I hope it gives you some inspiration for your own home. And if you'd like more videos just like this one, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, where I integrate the Montessori method with our Catholic faith at home. Thank you again for watching, and God bless.